in Philly, he brought up the Museum of Segregation. So
Look, it's a major problem in American history, so we're still grappling with it. I'm not going to argue with Dylan on that point. So anyway, so the Dodgers in 6.
hello and welcome back to Dodgers Debate. I'm Jack Harris, the LA Times Dodger beat writer, along with a current LA Times columnist, Dylan Hernandez, and a former LA Times colleague, Andy McCullough, who Dylan had to defend himself after you guys so brutally attacked him for his press box noises the other day.
I called him, when we're in Philadelphia, we're lined up with the Philly fanatic.
Yeah.
And I joked that he was a Dodger fanatic. But I really, now that I think about it, I think I'm going to shortchange you.
First of all, it is remarkable that you can accuse me of any behavior that you theoretically documented while we shared in the press box because you were asleep half the time.
Yeah, Flashy was the one who noticed it. Flashy comes up to me, he's like, oh my God, he's cheering for them. I always get relegated to the second row. Right? So it's Flashy and whoever's the beat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in row 2, man. I was not. Look, I am going off the unimpeachable, unquestionable words of the great Bill Plaschke.
Bill Plaschke is the best columnist in America, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
All right, Andy is here filling in
So
for Bill.
you're conceding.
I'm not going to, there's no point fighting with you because you take no accountability, you have no self-reflection, and you are not going to go to the World Series with that sort of performance, but you will have to learn that on your own.
Did he start
This
there?
was a good, Well, I mean, you guys started with the...
Yeah, they started with Otani.
All right.
Is he benched? He's not pitching in this series? What's going on?
Oh yeah, they sent them back to I guess the middle of the series somewhere. Obviously he could have theoretically pitched twice in this series. It's just going to be once now. And then the last series he was one for what did it end up being 18, 19,
9 strikeouts.
At bats I saw, particularly against Christopher Sanchez, did not look good. Christopher Sanchez is awesome, which is part of the problem, but it seemed like even against an awesome pitcher, he did not look great.
Right. Yeah, I think, when you look at game 1, this has become a problem this year, which is on the days he pitches, the at-bats aren't as good. On the days after he pitches, the at-bats aren't as good. And while Dave Roberts today said that pushing him back in the series and going Blake Snell in game 1, Yoshinobu Yama in game 2 is not because of Otani's hitting struggles, it's hard to separate the two right now because as Dave Roberts put very clearly yesterday on the Dodgers workout while they were waiting to find out who they play in the NLCS, they need him to be better. He was very blunt about it. The quality of at-bats need to be better. He said he wanted him to do some self-reflecting about the pitches he was swinging at, the ones he was taking in the zone. They have a very high bar for what they need out of him offensively. And again, this is something we've gone back to talking about all year, which is for as good as Shohei Otani is as a pitcher, the number one thing he brings to this team, the most important single tool that they have is his bat. And if there's any concern about how that's being impacted because he's pitching or because he's worrying about, I think this does eliminate that, at least for these first couple games, to give him a chance to kind of get back into some sort of approach and rhythm at the plate.
Do you think, though, you've been watching this all year, right? He's the guy that looks a lot at, his exit below numbers, launch angles kind of big for him. Does he just kind of have to take, a completely different approach when he gets to, 2 strikes or something just because it's... he's kind of a home run or bust kind of guy.
I think the problem isn't when he gets to 2 strikes. It's the fact that he's putting himself in these counts where, the way teams pitch him, he should not be in these 1-2, 0-2 counts as often as he was in that Phillies series. That was a big part of the problem, is that then he's got to be on the defensive. Then he can't really wait and look for a good pitch to hit. I think that's why you saw him be so passive on all those strikeouts that he took on called third strikes. You saw him over-aggressive early in the count, swinging at stuff. Dave Roberts made a big point about, he likes to hit that inside fastball, but he cannot be going and chasing on the pitches that are inside off of the plate because there's nothing he can do with them. And that's what they want him to get back to. And look, this is something he's gone through a lot over the last 2 years with the Dodgers, where sometimes he gets in a swing mode, he gets over aggressive, and then he recalibrates. He did it in the playoffs last year after facing Yu Darvish, and then finds some better rhythm at the plate, a better approach, and more production.
You wrote an entire book on a guy who put otherworldly regular season numbers.
Yeah.
And kind of struggled in October.
Sure.
I do think
Thousands of copies still available.
I do think
this is kind of taking on a bit of a psychological,
Sure.
aspect to it. What, I don't know, again, you're as much of an expert on this subject, maybe as anybody. What does Otani where does he have to get to mentally to...
You're not in his head. We're not in his head. He doesn't offer a ton of insight into, his
Dylan's
inner
not in
world.
his head.
Well, sure. Dylan's in his grill just being like, hey, you need to answer questions. Tommy Tough Guy over here. But I do think that this series will be an interesting gauge of how much of it is mental and how much of it was just Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo and Ranger Suarez pitched pretty well, because he's not going to see anyone in this series from the left side who pitches with the talent that they have. He'll see, so Jose Quintana is a lefty, Aaron Ashby is a lefty, Jared Koenig is a lefty. Koenig and Ashby are pretty solid lefty relievers. Quintana's had a, really good career, but they do not have power stuff in the way that he was saying. And the Brewers have a lot of right-handed pitchers who theoretically Otani should be able to get right against.
And who he has better numbers against, starting with someone like Freddie Peralta.
So now you've watched this team. It sounds like everybody I've talked to kind of makes it seem like roadkill. My favorite, I don't even know who the question was asked to. I think I know who asked it, but one of the Brewers players was asked today in the press conference stuff, you seem like a Brewers type player.
Yes.
And I was joking with Jack. Yeah, that means he's not going to get he's not the type of player who's good enough to get a fat contract from the Dodgers.
Right. It did feel
so that was Caleb Durbin, who is their third baseman, who has had a really nice rookie season. He is listed at 5'7". That might be a little generous. He's an undersized.
Wait, so this guy's smaller than me?
I mean, most of players may less the
shorter.
So he's like shaken size?
He's a small young man. Yeah. But he's like a very nifty fielder. He actually led the National League in getting hit by pitches this year. I mean, look, the Brewers.
I think Shaken could give him a run for the money if he decided to become a hitter.
He doesn't get out of the way on two-seamers. I mean, look, their offense is really interesting to watch because they force the most errors of any team in baseball this year. They were second in stolen bases. They're the best base running team. They seem like they score runs almost by accident. They basically force the other team to make mistakes, and they're facing a Dodgers team that is not defensively sound. I think is reasonable, and that is like the one clear advantage that the Brewers will have, is that when the ball is in play, and the Brewers will probably catch it, with the Dodgers it will be more adventure.
Okay, now I'll push back on that a little bit, in that I don't think a lot of the Dodgers guys have a ton of range.
Yeah.
Right? That said, when they have to kind of make plays and the ball's kind of hit to them, they make those plays.
Dylan's even a believer in Max Mutzie's defense now.
I mean, he executed that beautiful wheel play.
He makes plays when he has right. And so I guess what I'm wondering though, right? Because those are two kind of separate types of things, right? It's like, okay, yeah, the ball's in play, it's a little bit out of reach, right? So you can kind of get on that way. But I don't think, if you hit it to these guys, they're not going to be chucking it into the stands the way that Phillies pitcher did.
You would think that, but if you watched the last series, which I'm sure you did, Dansby Swanson, Nico Horner, probably the best up-the-middle combination in the sport, made several mistakes.
What was that? The Swanson, the last one, what was that?
What that is that they run hard out of the box. They put pressure on you. You know that if there's a guy on second base and the ball hits you, there's a good chance if you make an error, he is going to be scoring on it from second. They run the bases really well. They run hard. They're smart. They're well coached. It's a kind of a fun team to watch, but if you're playing against them, you just want to bash your brain against them.
Well, and the moment that we saw in the Dodgers TS against the Phillies, where you saw something like that go wrong, was in that Yamamoto start, where after the Schwarber home run, what gave the Phillies the lead was the Dodgers not being able to execute when Bryce Harper pushes for an extra base going into third. The Phillies put pressure on the Dodgers defense in that situation, and those are the kind of plays that I think this team, especially if you have Teoscar Hernandez in right, if you have Max Muncy at third, even Freddie Freeman at first, whose range has been limited this year, they can put pressure on you in ways that a lot of other teams can't, and they also do it because they walk a lot, they don't strike out, they have one of the best contact rates in baseball, and they present, I think, an interesting test both to this Dodgers pitching staff, which, Dave Roberts today said, look, we cannot be nibbling outside the strike zone with these guys. We have to be aggressive, but if you're going to be aggressive in the zone, they're going to put a lot of balls in play, and I think that becomes, the big question of this series for the Dodgers, how they handle that, because if they do, they That's the only way you can equalize the talent, because the talent disparity is really, really stark.
It really is. I mean,
Top end.
it's reflective of the cities, right? Like nobody lives here, you know. Like no wonder they can't. How do they generate any revenue to buy players?
Did you pick a fight with Philadelphia? Or you were saying
Yeah,
it
he
to pick a
tried.
fight with Milwaukee. But you like Philadelphia. You couldn't even, you knew your heart wasn't into it.
Yeah, it's a different. Yeah, you know what?
Philadelphia's a great American city. It's just hard to.
No, it's not. And anyone
Yes, it is.
who was born there, grew up there, right, just kind of has this like loser era.
Roots of the football team there.
Yo, go Birds. Yeah, I mean,
This place sucks, right? I mean, like they got that dirty ass water flowing through downtown.
I hear nothing negative to say about my experience.
We will plug Milwaukee businesses that deserve it, right? Today we went to Egg and Flour. It's kind of like hipster district, and like there's like look, and I kind of liked it because I don't like people, and nobody was there, right? And and that place was really good, right? Like you would think that a place like that would be packed.
Yep.
It was empty. Like we walked right to the front of the line, you know. So like again, if you don't like people,
Yeah.
move to Milwaukee.
If you
I mean,
come to
that's it. I
Milwaukee-
mean, it's really ugly, right? I mean, this is the remnants of redlining, right?
Well,
They'll enjoy it.
No, you can really the remnants of like redlining is like you can just see it going through town, you know.
he's not wrong.
This-
When we were in Philly, he brought up the Museum of Segregation. So
Look, it's a major problem in American history, so we're still grappling with it. I'm not going to argue with Dylan on that point.
But yeah,
So anyway, yeah, so the Dodgers in 6.
yeah. I mean, it's gonna be 6, I think, because like they're just gonna decide like, okay, you know what, we just need to punt the game just to
Yeah.
kind of we don't have the
And,
relief.
and
pitcher to get to
Milwaukee can engineer some bullpen games that are kind of gnarly. Their bullpen's really good. Mizorowski,
who shoved against the Dodgers earlier.
Zarowski, American Rookie, like they're. He started out better, right? Like American cars started out better, and then eventually got passed by the superior Japanese model.
Mizorowski was really good in the DS. He'll might get a start, but either way, he's going to get at least one bulk assignment. Yeah, I mean, look, it's obviously the Dodgers should be favored. They're a better team, but there are things you can watch Milwaukee and really see how it works in a way that it doesn't show up on the stat.
Okay, now the last time I was here, this was in 2018.
Yeah.
And I nicknamed this place the Monastery
Yeah.
because everybody, like their fans seem so old, they can only cheer for like 30 seconds at a time, right? So they would like go crazy for like 30 seconds after a home run, and they'd be quiet again.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if this is my imagination or if whoever was broadcasting the game was putting in like fake crowd noise or whatever, but it seemed a little louder
There was a hot crowd.
than
Yeah,
it did
I mean,
like 7 years ago.
It was a hot crowd.
So all those fans previously, they're all dead?
They're all dead, and it's all their, nephews,
Okay.
basically. No, I mean, they were also playing the Cubs, like their chief rival.
Oh,
And so that added some heat to it. But I think, this city had been really waiting for the team to break through. They
they were waiting for anything other than like the local tractor pull. I mean, there's nothing to do here.
I was about to say, it almost sounded like Milwaukee was growing on you between the noodle place and the better crap.
Yeah.
And we'll go to, we'll be stopping by Wolski's roughly.
There's an IHOP next to the hotel that Dylan will be frequenting.
Yeah, and again, that's the thing. Is like to the right. So I'm trying to figure out like where to book, and Andy's like, "Oh, you should stay where I am." Like, there's like an IHOP next door. It's like, well, that's a great selling point, you know.
Where are you staying?
Oh yeah, I mean, I just ended up opting for convenience.
Yeah. All right, well, maybe we'll do one of our post-game shows for the II.
Hey, the big question here though is David Vassay,
Oh, yeah.
who very
That is
famously,
true.
right? David Vassay was a nobody until he went on that slide and crashed and like broke like 6 ribs and broke his arm or whatever happened. Is he trying that again? Has anybody
I mean,
talked
he
about
must.
this yet?
He has a flash key column from that moment. Like it's
Yeah, but it
he
kind of sounds like
created.
the wife kind of, right? Is they going to let him go there?
I don't think the Brewers are going to let him go there.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
I don't know. He's
signed a release waiver. That's why he's still doing radio stuff.
One of those waivers they have to sign whenever you cover NASCAR.
The Brewers are a major league organization. They're not going to let some radio yokel break his arm again in the NLCS.
That was great publicity for them.
They're not. I mean, look, he's just like
Yeah,
some
but it's,
jock
it's
from the
serious
valley.
now.
Hey, what can you do wrong to get stuck covering the Brewers, by the way?
I am tired of writing about the Dodgers. I wanted a seat in the press box. You know how hard it is to get a seat in the press box at Dodger Stadium?
Thank you for your Milwaukee insight. We'll try to keep you apart from Dylan in the press box here so that only one of us is annoying him with our in-game
Yeah,
sound.
just make sure you keep him awake.
Oh, yeah, that's what my sounds will do. They're a little more like, oh! So, all right, we'll be back here tomorrow. Game 1 of the NLCS. Dodgers and Brewers. Oh, wait, we didn't get our... Are we all Dodgers and 6? That's what my pick is.
Yeah, I think Dodgers 6.
It's going to just annoy. They want to bring you back here.
You got to come back and close Wolski's twice.
Yeah.